Welcome to the moors. It's cold and it's snowing. Let's run the intro. So, welcome YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever I've put this. On this episode, I'm going to talk about me and my journey so far in photography, I suppose. I didn't actually start my photography journey with studying photography at university or college like maybe I should have done. I was actually really into music, hence this room is actually a music studio. There's a drum room next door that way, and we, for the last 10 years, we've been having bands up here, making loads of noise and sleeping and all sorts of stuff. We've made some good music here. It's been really good fun. But that does tie into how I started in photography. I was on tour with a band actually, and I bought my first camera, which was this, the Sony Cybershot. Something or other. That's all it says. It's a tiny little camera. I bought this when I was on tour with a band, and I took loads of pictures of bands on stage and all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I took it with me on gigs I was working at, and I took loads of pictures of bands jumping around. And then when I was working in the studio, I took pictures of drum kits and all sorts of stuff. So that was where it started, this tiny little camera. Took on a holiday, everything. I then upgraded to a different camera which broke, and that led me on my journey to taking lots of pictures, I suppose. So the question is, how did I get into shooting weddings? I mean, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure if anybody really starts out with a camera thinking, you know what, I'm going to shoot people's wedding days. I don't know if that happens with photographers or not. I don't really know. But I think what does happen a lot with people who own a camera and they enjoy it is eventually somebody in your family or a friend asks you, would you shoot my wedding? Or my sister's getting married, would you shoot their wedding? And that's kind of what happened. My now sister-in-law asked me, do you fancy shooting my sister's wedding next year? And a lot of the times I probably would have said no. But on this occasion I said, yeah, why not? I've got a whole year to prepare myself. And I said, yeah. I wasn't really sure what to expect doing it. I was really nervous about it. And I was looking forward to it though. So I spent that year leading up to it. I went on a couple of different wedding photography courses, which were really good. I learned quite a lot and watched countless YouTube videos and all sorts of things, trying to absorb as much stuff about wedding photography as I could leading up to the big day. There is a good one, the F-Stoppers, how to be a commercial wedding photographer. If you're looking for a definitive learning video, I can suggest that one. I mean, it is probably a little bit old now, but I found that very useful, very good. It goes through absolutely everything from lenses that you might want to how to shoot engagements, right up to post-processing and everything. It's really good. It is quite expensive. They usually do a deal on it though. So, but yeah, the F-Stoppers, how to be a commercial wedding photographer. Go and check that one out. But yes, I spent that year learning, and I went and shot my first wedding. And as I said, I wasn't sure what to expect, and it was incredibly nerve-wracking, but it was great. It was great fun. I enjoyed it so much more than I thought I would. I took lots of pictures and delivered the wedding, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I booked another one a few months later, and the following year I booked a few more, and after the following year after that I booked even more. So it's just kind of spiraled from there really. That first one I said I'd do, it's just spiraled into a whole new business and a whole different way of how I sort of approach my year now, which is great. And yeah, I enjoy it a lot more than what I thought I actually would. But I think that's where a lot of the experience I've got in working in the music industry works for me doing weddings. It's very similar to being at a gig. You've got this one-off event that has to go right. It can't really go wrong. So whatever does go wrong, you kind of have to fix. You just have to deal with it. It happens, and it always works. It's like theatre. The show always goes on. So it's very similar, and I think that's what potentially a lot of new wedding photographers, in fact all wedding photographers, no matter how many you've shot, you always get a bit nervous, and I always find it's very similar to that moment when you're about to step on stage, or you're waiting to go on stage, that nerves point. And once you start taking pictures and you start shooting stuff, it all kind of goes and you enjoy it. And I think it's that nerves section that a lot of new wedding photographers will suffer with the most, the preparation and everything. And some people, it does make them feel sick and anxious and really nervous about it all, and it just puts them off. And I think that's why they end up thinking, oh, I can't do this weddings thing, it's far too stressful. So yeah, I think that if you're coming from a musical background, you will find that or theatre or anything like that, it's very similar to going on stage. That's what I found. So thanks for joining me on this vlog. If you do have any questions or abuse, I don't really mind, then leave it below. If you want to know when I post a new one, then subscribe. If you're on Facebook, or if it's on Instagram, no, it probably won't be on Instagram, but if it's on Facebook or something like that, then go to my YouTube channel and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I've got my first wedding this week. It's in Darlington, so that should be great fun. I'm going to do some behind the scenes of the wedding. Hopefully the bride and groom won't mind me messing about with the camera, and I'll be back next week.